Okay, what if a single person could build $100 million company? I know, a few years ago that would have been pure science fiction. But today, it's actually starting to happen. And the secret? It isn't a massive team or a huge pile of investor cash. It's a totally new way of working, and it's all powered by AI. So let's break down the playbook for this new kind of company, the one person unicorn. So let's just ask the big question right up front. Can one person, truly on their own, build a business that's worth $100 million? It sounds impossible, right? I mean, that kind of scale has always required hundreds, if not thousands of people. But the fundamental rules of the game are changing right now, right under our feet. And look, this isn't just some wild theory. The founder of Replit, Amjad Masad, was asked how soon a solo entrepreneur could build a company with 50 million in annual revenue. Now, just to put that in perspective, a business like that could be worth over $1 billion. And his answer wasn't a decade from now. It was in the next couple of years. Wow. So how on earth is this even possible? Well, we're going to cover the entire playbook. We'll start with what a one-person unicorn actually is. Then we'll get into finding your founder fit, treating AI as your co-founder, building with your AI team, learning the new rules for growth, and finally, figuring out your new role in all this as the conductor. All right, first up, this idea of the one-person unicorn. The most important thing to understand is that the source of power, of leverage, has completely shifted. It's not about who you can hire anymore, it's about how clearly you can think. The new competitive advantage isn't the size of your team. It's the insane speed and focus that a single founder can have when they're backed by AI. You know, Instagram's co-founder Mike Krieger has a great term for this: conceptual integrity. It's this idea that when a company's entire vision can fit inside just one or two heads, it can move with a speed and focus that big companies just can't dream of. And now, AI gives that tiny, focused team the output of a giant one. But hold on, before you start building anything, you need the right idea. And here's the key insight, the thing most people miss. You don't need to invent something totally out of the blue. Your most powerful idea is probably hiding in plain sight, right inside your own experience. An expert named Daniel Priestley calls this founder opportunity fit, and it's so important. It's not just about finding a good idea, it's about finding the perfect idea for you. It's this sweet spot, this rare overlap between something the world actually needs, something you genuinely love doing, and, this is the critical part, something you've already done and gotten great results with. That last part, your proven experience, that's what AI can't replicate. That's your superpower. So, how do you find this fit? Well, Priestley suggests this incredibly simple but really profound exercise. You go for a walk, and I mean totally unplugged. No phone, no music, nothing. And you just ask yourself this one question: when did I do something special for a specific kind of person, get an amazing result, and I can explain exactly how I did it step by step? The answer to that question, that's probably where your unicorn idea is hiding. Okay, so once you've got your idea, the next step requires probably the biggest mindset shift of this entire journey. You have to stop thinking of AI as a simple tool, like a calculator or a spell checker. You need to start treating it as a true co-founder. And the difference here is profound. The old way was giving AI a command and getting a result. It was a one-way street. The new way, it's a dialogue. It's a partnership. A collaborative AI won't just answer your questions. It's gonna ask you follow-up questions. It won't just do a task. It'll propose totally new directions and even challenge your core assumptions. Mike Krieger from Instagram has a perfect example of this. He says he uses Anthropic's AI, Claude, to challenge his ideas. Before he shows a document to a real person, he asks Claude to poke holes in it, to ask him the tough questions. The AI is basically acting as his thought partner, finding his blind spots. Now that is true collaboration. So, with this new collaborative mindset, you're ready to start building. But here's the thing, you're not just building a product anymore. You're building and managing an entire AI team that can handle everything from writing code to figuring out your creative strategy. Amjad Masad has the perfect metaphor for this. He says prompting an AI is like managing a powerful but easily distractible intern. It's incredibly capable, but you have to give it precise, clear instructions. Success isn't about knowing some secret code anymore. It's about being an excellent manager. Prompting is the new programming. And this is where it gets really wild. You're not just limited to one AI. You can create a whole team of specialized AIs.
One founder, Mike Krieger, talked about has a product manager Claude, a lawyer Claude, and get this, even a founder therapist Claude, each one loaded with its own specific context. Just think about that. It allows a single person to run a company that is incredibly lean, but still has access to all this expert advice. So you've built the product with your AI team. Awesome. Now what? How do you grow? Well, surprise, surprise, the rules here have been completely rewritten too. These days, growth is really about two things: the power of compounding obsession and learning how to market directly to machines.
I want you to let this number sink in for a minute. Arabin Serenas, the founder of Flexity, he lives by this. If you get just 1% better at something every single day, at the end of a year, you're not 365% better. You're nearly 38 times better. That's the absolutely mind-bending power of compounding improvements. And then, when it comes to getting discovered, the whole game has changed. As one expert from Google pointed out, you're not just marketing to people anymore. You're marketing to the AI models that people use to find information. This means that things like high-quality content, good PR, and trust signals are more critical than ever. Your new goal is to be the best, most trusted source that an AI can find when it's doing research for a user.
So, if you have an AI team building the product and AI algorithms driving the growth, what's actually left for you to do? This brings us to the final and honestly, the most important role you have to play. You are the conductor. Your job is not to play every instrument, but to create the music. This conductor metaphor is just perfect for the founder's new role. Think about it. The conductor doesn't play the violin or the cello. They don't make a single sound. But they hold the vision. They know the music they want to create. They direct the power of the entire orchestra to bring that vision to life. Your value is no longer in doing the tasks, but in your taste, your direction, and your clarity. And as tech visionary Reid Hoffman says, this isn't a story about being replaced. This is a story about amplification. The most successful founders aren't going to be the ones who can do everything themselves. They'll be the ones who can best amplify their own unique vision using these incredibly powerful new tools.
So look, the tools are here, the playbook is written, the old limits on what a single person can build are just disappearing. You have a virtual orchestra of unparalleled talent right at your fingertips, just waiting for a conductor. So the only question left is, what music will you create?